Well, good afternoon and welcome back to the Little French Homestead. If you are new today to my channel, my name is Sherry. So, what we've decided to do today is make a behind the scenes look at what it takes to make a YouTube video. I am currently using two iPhones. My daughter is holding hers while I have mine setting on the tripod. Now I have to walk over a few times to adjust the screen so that way I am in focus. And if I am using any type of equipment like my stove, I turn on the stove to what the directions are calling for. I usually gather out all my ingredients and then I go ahead and start filming. It can normally take me anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes to get everything all up and ready, even for a 20 to 30 minute cook time. I usually try to then cut it back quite a bit. Here you are seeing me grabbing out all of my ingredients, any of my utensils, and laying them all out. Now I realized I had another tripod. It was a little broken, but I was able to go ahead and set it all up. My daughter was not wanting to stay out for all of the video that I wanted to do for today, which is totally fine. But she was thankfully letting me go ahead and use her phone to still go ahead and record the behind the scenes while I was getting ready and set to start filming. Now, sometimes I usually have to take a few takes. Here I had to clean my glasses, fix my hair. You see me trying to get rid of the jitters. Then I try to make myself look halfway decent and presentable and talk to you. Now this particular video came out on Sunday, and I will link that at the end so you can see that video in its entirety in case you did not happen to see it yet. I did not do the entire video of the behind the scenes, but I got a really good portion of it. I am making here the croissant, egg and cheese and sausage rolls. I am getting all the ingredients out, cracking the eggs, doing the milk, laying that out on the pan. We're going to go ahead and bake that in the oven. What then after that I'm going to do is bring out the next set of ingredients. I do try to keep a clean kitchen, clean as you go type of person. I love cooking, I really do, but I hate the mess and I hate the cleanup. Also too, pardon some of the kitties, you will see some of them coming in and out of the video frame. This is not only a working kitchen, it is also a working household. I am doing a voiceover, so then that way you're not hearing me in the video. I also have people in the background, sometimes talking to themselves or, trying to have a conversation with me while I'm filming. I usually let my family know when I am about to film, so then that way if they need to come into the kitchen to make a sandwich or grab something to drink, they can do that freely without having to interrupt me. There are times where there is an interruption that needs to happen, and that is perfectly okay with me. Now, I did forget to show on camera me putting in the sausage links, but it's not a big deal. I think everybody knows how to do the sausage links in the oven. I did not want to cook them in a pan on the stove since I already had the oven going. Now you see me coming in and out of frame. I've grabbed my recipe book. I'm just trying to go over some of the things that I am making today. Now I'm going to be grabbing all the ingredients for the next recipes, which would be the overnight oats. Now I normally do pumpkin since my husband is a huge fan of pumpkin overnight oats. I did not have any, so I did ask him if he is willing to change that up, and he certainly was. So I was able to do a peanut butter overnight oats. He actually has eaten a couple of them by now. He has been enjoying them. He will go ahead and grab some nuts, put them on top for a little added protein. Usually have a banana on the side, even though there is banana mixed in. And just add a few blueberries on top for the fresh fruits. Now you see me turning it. Now I'm just grabbing out all my ingredients. Even though my pantry is well stocked, there are some things that are still in the wrong spot. So I have to move things around and then move things back up where they should belong. That was just me putting stuff back up when I was probably doing a video and dinner was getting ready and I had to hurry up and put everything all back so we could enjoy our meal. Usually when I am all done making a specific meal or any type of ingredients, I usually try to put them behind me and then gather them all up to put them in front of me so I can see what I'm working with, and then I go along with the video. Now, if you remember that video, or if you haven't seen it yet, please make sure you check it out. That I had put 2 bananas in already, and I was starting to film. I flubbed up on some words, so I edited that out, but you are seeing it live to where I did not edit it out. I had to then refocus and reconcentrate and then put on my big old smile that I have and swallow whatever I was thinking, getting back into the groove to make this video for you. There are times where you don't see it because I've edited it, but there have been many times where I've had to do 2, 3, sometimes even up to 5 takes to make sure that I can get pretty decent content. I am not a perfectionist by any means. I do have mess ups in the kitchen, but I try to make sure that either I leave them out or I try to voice over it, so then that way you don't actually see or hear anything. So now that you're seeing me move my camera, and now you see me moved our other camera, this video calls for some cheese on those eggs. So I am talking to you through my camera, telling you what I'm doing. It is always good to do a step-by-step instruction if possible. That way it helps the audience and myself to know pretty much exactly what I'm doing. Just remember though, we are all human and there are plenty of mistakes in the kitchen, so don't ever feel bad if you make a mistake. If you see here, I am adding some shredded cheese. I did not take out enough American cheese to make the rest of these. I usually keep my American cheese frozen, and we take out little bit by little bit. If you had seen one of my videos that I done not too long ago where I break everything all down, that's what happened there. I had not taken out enough of the cheese, so we just used a little bit of what we had. And then I, added some shredded cheese to it. This is always the frustrating part, where I have to keep walking and walking and walking around, trying to get myself into focus. Once I get myself into focus, then that's when I usually go ahead and press record. Sometimes I have to do a couple of quick breathing exercises, or I stare at the camera for a few minutes. I'm trying to think of like my next line and how to go into the video so you can go ahead and make sure that it is voice worthy. I'm trying to say, that way you understand what I'm speaking to you about, understanding what I'm doing. You gotta follow a nice rhythmic tune, it needs to be nice and steady on that. I have found many times where I may have had to, I start a video and I'm doing really good, and then I draw a blank or I mispronounce a word. Sometimes I will just keep right on going. Sometimes I do get really frustrated with myself, and sometimes I will just stop what I'm doing. I will breathe, and then I will come back to it. Like I said, I am really not a huge fan of being in front of the camera. And that's just me personally. I've grown up like that. I don't even like pictures of me. It has nothing to do with the way I look, the way I sound, or any of that. I just personally don't like myself out there like this. So I've had to get up the courage to go ahead and put myself out there. That's what a lot of us YouTube videos do. We have to put ourselves up there, so then that way we can go ahead and, give the content that we want to do. Like I said earlier, I absolutely love cooking. I was not always a fan of cooking. I can tell you that right now. It started off when my children, the twins, were young. They just turned 15 a few weeks ago. But I wasn't the person that always did all the cooking. Growing up, my mom did all of the cooking. And even when I had to move back into her house after I had my first child and her father and I split, my mom still did all of the cooking. So it took me a while to really go back and enjoy the cooking on it. Ever since I started cooking for my family about 15 years ago, when I started making homemade baby food, I really then said, ooh, I could do this and I can make that and I can do this. And that's exactly what I did. And I've been doing this now for 15 years. I did also too have my own catering company up in New Hampshire. It was short-lived only because we were putting our house on this for sale because we wanted to move down to Florida. And when we got to Florida, I found out that I could not use my house kitchen to do any type of catering. So therefore, I had to come up with a different outlet. I had been watching a lot of YouTube videos before then. A lot of them were about homesteading. So they would show the animals and they would show their livestock and how they took care of them and they processed them and they enjoyed their foods, and a lot of gardening and growing your own vegetables. And don't get me wrong, I still would kind of like to go ahead and do that. But right now, my backyard, even though I'm on an acre, the way that it is shaped can really only house some chickens and a small little garden for right now. So I can't do any gardening on a big scale to go ahead and feed my family of 5 for a full year. So with that in mind, I had said, let me go ahead and focus on the inside. If you notice, several of my first videos were me outside showing you my garden, showing you my animals, and very little of showing you me. Once I realized that I really wasn't getting the views that I was looking for, and not to make money, just to show people what I like to do, I knew I had to bring myself inside. So about 4, maybe 5 months later, I brought you inside. And I've been cooking inside ever since. I do have a couple of videos where I did go back outside. We showed you some of the setting up of our new chicken coop and the areas where our garden is. But my passion right now is in the house. So that is why I bring you along in my house to show you what I do. Here we are now doing the roll-ups. I'm showing you now that they are all done. They're going to go in the oven. Now I'm taking a few seconds break. We had a couple of sausage links left over. That was my little bit of a break that I took. Now I'm cleaning everything all down. Like I said, I always clean as I go. I do have Lysol wipes on hand. So if I find that anything is sticky or anything along that lines, I go ahead and do that. You can see me just taking a little bit of a break. I am enjoying some nice ice cold cherry flavored Crystal Light. And I still have that cough just a little bit there. Going over the recipe again. Now like I said, there was a little bit more that I did filming wise, but I'm not going to show you all of the rest of it. I did go ahead and make my marinades. They turned out delicious. We've already had 2 already. The egg rolls, crescent rolls, they are all gone. My family enjoyed them up very much. A couple of people even ate them cold because everything was all cooked. I think I'm explaining a little something there about the chicken marinades that I'm going to go ahead and do, and then I'll bring out the chicken to do it. Now, those chicken marinades, the chicken was frozen. I just made the marinades and added it in there. All right, so I just want to say thank you so much for visiting my home. I hope you really enjoyed this video, and I just want to always say thank you and keep on cooking. Bye.